Hi, welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I am doing a tag video. It's been a little while since I have done a tag video on my channel. I used to do them really frequently and have kind of fallen off that a little bit, but I have been tagged in some really interesting ones lately, including this one, which is the behind the scenes tag. I'm not sure who the original creator of this tag is, but I was tagged by Holly from Lovely Day with Holly. This tag is essentially just questions about how YouTube works for me, what I do for my YouTube channel, and all those kinds of things. So it's kind of a peek behind the curtain, if you will. So hopefully you find these questions as interesting as I did. The first question is, when recording a post, do you read from a prepared script, or do you prefer to refer to notes or broad outline, or do you speak extemporaneously? So I have never scripted a single video that I have done at all. I know there are some people who script their videos out, and they're probably a lot more well-spoken than I am because they're probably more organized than me. I tend to have just a little bit of notes. So for example, for this tag, I have the tag questions written out, and sometimes if I'm doing like a wrap-up video or a TBR video, I'll have a piece of paper that I have written what books I'm going to talk about. Or like when I did recently my light academia recommendations video, I had a list of the books that I was going to talk about, but I don't have any other notes other than that. Sometimes I'll have a little bit more notes if I'm doing like a vlog for a specific book. Then I might have certain plot points or things that I want to touch on. The same if I'm doing a dedicated review, although I don't do very many of those. So usually it's just a list and I just fly by the seat of my pants. Question number 2 is, do you edit before you post, deleting hems and haws, misspeaks, mispronunciations, or other common public speaking foibles? Do you remove things you didn't mean to say, or off-topic thoughts or comments that you might think might be misunderstood? So I do edit. As you could probably tell, I do not edit out every single or every single misspeak, but I do a lot of them. And there's a lot of times where I'll restart. As a matter of fact, I actually misspoke multiple times when I was trying the opening of this video. So this is not the first take of this video that you're seeing. This is actually the first time I'm answering this particular question. But the opening of this video, the introduction, I stumbled multiple times trying to record it. And so sometimes I'll start the whole video over if it's at the beginning of the video, or I'll just kind of like pause and start that section of the video over again if it ends up being really bad. But sometimes I do just go in if I kind of like trail off and just say and lose my train of thought, or maybe in the middle of a sentence I will just pause to think, or sometimes there's like background noise or something, or a loud car that's coming outside, and I'll stop in the middle of a sentence, wait for the noise to be over, and then I will finish my sentence. So I edit out those kinds of things as well. I do also occasionally edit out things that I was like, oh, especially if a video is really long. If a video is really long, I might realize that I repeated myself a couple of times, or some information's in there that is not really necessary. And so I try to trim the video down so it's not super long. But a lot of times I don't just trim out random things that I feel like, oh, that didn't need to be in there. You know, it's usually only if the video is on the longer end. Question number 3 is, have you ever edited a post after posting, or have you ever deleted an entire post? I've never deleted a post. I don't think I've really edited a post after I have put it up. I can't do that with the video portion because that's how YouTube works. You take the video and you upload it, and you can't really edit it, I don't think, after you have uploaded it. Maybe there's a way to cut out sections. I know you can add music and stuff like that after you have already uploaded it to YouTube, but I've never tried to trim a video down, and I don't know if you can. I use editing software on my phone and so I do all my editing before I upload it. So I've never really edited anything after I have already made it public, like published it, although I might sometimes go back in and realize I forgot to put something in the description of the video that needs to be there. Sometimes I do that kind of stuff, but I don't think I really do very much editing once I finally hit that publish button. Question number 4 is, are there certain topics you avoid, things you regard as too personal or too controversial? Yes, actually. There are a lot of things that I talk about on my channel. I definitely talk about my own worldviews and my own thoughts being a Christian, and I don't shy away from that and talking about morality and those kinds of things. So I guess those are controversial things that I do talk about. However, I specifically avoid talking about American politics ever. I don't think I've ever really talked about that. I don't think I've ever posted anything like that on my Instagram either, which my Instagram at this point is much more of a personal Instagram than a Bookstagram. And also, I don't really post on there very much anymore either. I've been taking a big step back from social media this entire year, really. But I always have wanted my social media spaces online to be a place that is free from political conversation and strife, mostly because I feel like we get that so much that you're just scrolling through and you just see videos. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with having political conversations on a Booktube channel or whatever, because lots of books have political conversations, and really you can take pretty much anything and turn it into a conversation about your belief systems or about whatever. And so I don't think that that's a wrong thing, but I have gotten to the point where I'm tired of social media having these little sound bites that are extremely jolting, where one post might be something about books and then a video of a cute little animal and then like some horrific political thing and then this person died and then, and so it ends up feeling really jarring. And I've always wanted my contribution to the public sphere of social media to be a more calming presence and not to be a place where people feel like they have to be on their guard or they need to be discussing those things. And I also have never really wanted to open up my comment section to be a place where there's a lot of arguments. That doesn't mean that people always agree with me. And I honestly welcome respectful disagreements. And I've had some not respectful disagreements before in my comments. But I feel like there are certain topics that just bring that to the forefront that much more. And I am of the firm belief that no one has ever convinced another person of their viewpoint, whether it be political, religious, whatever, in the comments section of any social media post. No one has ever been convinced. So I don't want to really be posting things that tends to encourage discussions that end up being super argumentative. I like my public space, not just for myself, but for all of you, to be a place that feels like a bit of a reprieve from that. Question number 5 is, do your posts include graphics, special lighting, music, fast cuts, or other design enhancements? Sometimes. Not all of these things. I've never had special lighting, I don't think, in any of my videos. Sometimes I'll have graphics. I do have like my little clips at the beginning and the end of my videos of like a thanks for watching, welcome to my channel, thank you to my patrons. I have like those little clips. Sometimes I have music, especially if I'm doing a vlog. I like to have background music going on for my B-roll. And then sometimes if I'm doing a video where the majority of the video or sections of the video have voiceovers, a lot of times I really like to have background music for those videos as well. So it just depends, but the answer is sometimes. Question number 6 is, do you have a target number of posts each week? Yeah, actually, I plan to post videos every Tuesday and Saturday. Does it always work out that way? No, it does not. Life happens. I used to be a lot more strict about ensuring that I always posted twice a week. A lot of times I do hit that benchmark of what I'm looking for, but this past year was really crazy with school and with some other things in my life and other changes that were happening. And so for a lot of the school year, I did drop down to 1 video a week instead of 2, and have slowly increased and gone back to a more regular 2 videos a week kind of schedule. And that might be what happens again this fall. I'm not really sure. That could happen where I go back down to 1 video a week for a time. I'm not really sure. Question number 7 is, are there certain themed posts you contribute to weekly, such as Poetry Thursday or What Are You Reading Wednesday? No. I guess occasionally, like today, I post a tag on Tuesday, so it counts as a tag Tuesday. But there are lots of times that I post tags on Saturdays, and so it's not even necessarily Tag Tuesday. I think the most predictable things that I do end up actually being my monthly videos, in that I always have a TBR video and I always have a wrap-up video. But other than that, there's not really anything that I contribute to regularly, certainly nothing weekly. Question number 8 is actually a million questions, so I think I might take them one by one because it's like 1, 2, 3, for 5 questions in one. So, first question is, how important to you is your number of subscribers? And I would say not super important, but a little important. Like, I really do enjoy seeing my channel grow and being able to interact with more people. And of course, I enjoy it when I have videos that get a larger reach than what my normal is. And so that's always fun. But I'm not obsessed with growing my channel. I'm not obsessed with figuring out the algorithm, because how even can you? I've never talked to anyone that's been able to figure out the algorithm, because it seems like it's really unpredictable. And so very early on, I wanted to let go of that, because I wanted this channel to be an outlet for an area for me to talk about books. That's why I started this channel, is because no one that I knew in my real life was reading any of the same books that I was. And I got tired of talking to my husband about books he'd never read and was never going to read. And so that's why I started my channel. And so I try to keep that in mind whenever I'm like, oh, I haven't gotten any new subscribers in a while, or oh, this hasn't happened, or oh, this doesn't have views. And so it's kind of like, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not really interested in having like this astronomically large channel. And so I don't get really discouraged when I haven't reached like a certain benchmark. Which kind of ties into the next question, which is there a target number you're hoping to reach? And the answer for that is no. My initial target was I wanted to reach that 1,000 subscriber mark so I could monetize my channel. And I have done that. I'm over 2,000 subscribers. And so I am monetized, but I don't make very much money from this channel. I think I would need to have, you know, at least several tens of thousands of subscribers to make any like decent money off of my channel. And even then it wouldn't be decent as in like a full-time wage. It would just be like enough of a bump that it would make a difference in our family income. And it certainly doesn't do that. So I don't really care about a target number. I don't want to have such a large channel that I'm not able to respond to all of the comments and actually interact with you, because I started this channel so I could talk to people about books. And so I feel like if I'm just talking into the void and I'm not able to really interact with anyone, then that's not really what I want. That's not why I started this channel. The next question is, if you don't hit your target, would you consider dropping out of Booktube? No, because I don't have a target. I think if I got to the point where for whatever reason nobody was commenting on my videos, that's when I would consider dropping off of Booktube entirely. If it got to the point where I was no longer having conversations with people, then that's when I would consider stepping back. Or if my life just like completely imploded and I just was not able to do anything on online spheres at all, then also I would step back, but that has nothing to do with a subscriber count. The next part of this question is, are your posts designed to attract new subscribers? And then the last part is, are you distressed if you lose subscribers? So I do want to get new subscribers through my videos, but I'm not trying to attract new subscribers, if that makes sense. So I think if I was trying to attract new subscribers, I would be reading trending books that would drive more traffic to my channel. But because reading is my primary hobby, I also video game and do a few other like creative things, but reading is my main hobby. And so I don't want to be miserable reading books just because they're popular. I've always been a big fan of classic literature, and I definitely branch out into all kinds of other genres, but I'm just really not interested in reading the books that are super popular just to increase traffic. If I was really enjoying super popular books, that would be a totally different story. If I think what's really one of the things that's really, really popular right now is kind of like the YA romantasy genre. I'm not a big fan of YA books. I was when I was the YA age range, but not so much in my 30s. And I'm not a big fan of romance. And so I'd rather read a straight up fantasy that might have some romance than have romance be the focus. I don't really care about that. And so I feel like a lot of the books that tend to be really buzzy right now are not really in the category of books that I'm super interested in. So I need classics to become super buzzy and really popular, and those to be the most popular books, because then my channel would just explode. And also, I'm not distressed if I lose subscribers, but I am disappointed. You know, I really do like for people to subscribe and want to be here. And so I'm not like losing sleep over losing subscribers, but if I have like a steady downward trend, it is a little disappointing. Finally, moving on to question number 9, which is only one question instead of like a bajillion in one question, which is, do you always respond when tagged? No, I don't. I've been really bad about that lately. That's why I figured out that I was tagged in a whole bunch of really cool tag videos, because I hadn't checked my mentions in a really long time, because like I said, I was taking a step back from social media. And so I stopped keeping the YouTube app on my phone to kind of bring down my screen time usage. And as a result, the YouTube Studio app, which is what you open when you want to check comments, check how your video is doing, check all those kinds of things, it doesn't have a section on the app that shows your mentions. The only way on an app to show who has mentioned you, in like if you're tagged in a description of a video or something like that, or if someone has replied to your comment on someone else's video other than your own, is if you have the actual regular YouTube app, which is weird that you can only check that in that place. Because if you go on the computer on YouTube, on the actual YouTube website, you can't see your mentions there. You can only see them in YouTube Studio under like a tab that has mentions, and that doesn't exist on the YouTube Studio app, which is a really weird design decision. I feel like that should have been consistent. And so as a result, I'm sure there's lots of tags that I have missed. And also I want to specify that even if I comment on someone's video and was like, oh, this is a cool tag or whatever, I don't always then go on and do the tag, because sometimes I have enough plans. I schedule out all the videos that I'm gonna do for the month at the beginning of the month. So I might not have time to get to it that month. And then by the time the next month rolls around, I might have forgotten about it. Question number 10 is, do you respond to viewers' comments? And are your responses lengthy or only a thumbs up or thumbs down? So I do always respond to viewers' comments. Like I said, this is why I started my channel. And I always do give an actual reply, even when people only comment like emojis. I have a few friends that sometimes they don't have anything to like say about the video, and they'll just comment emojis because they're trying to help my algorithm. Because the more interactions there are on a video post, the more that YouTube is going to recommend it to people who are not subscribers. And so I have a few friends that maybe they have nothing to say, but they're still going to comment emojis. And I always reply with emojis, even if I don't give like a real reply. But I always do more than a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And if you have a YouTube channel, you will know that the comments will not disappear from like your feed of comments until you at least hit the heart button. Thumbs up or thumbs down will not make it disappear. And so you'll continue to have a notification for that comment until you hit the heart button or you reply or both. And so I've never just responded with thumbs up, because then I would still have the notification there. Final question is, have you ever blocked anyone from viewing or commenting on your posts? No, I have not. I've never had anyone give repeatedly annoying comments. So the negative comments that I have received have all been one-offs. There have not been someone who has continued to obnoxiously post really derogatory comments. And even most of the derogatory comments I've received, I've only ever deleted one of them, and it was actually within the first like 6 months of my channel. And it was a comment that was disparaging another booktuber who was my friend. And I deleted that comment because I'm like, pff. But if someone is saying something about me, I usually don't. Well, I never have, at least so far. Could I? Yeah, I could. If it was like really nasty, maybe I could. But I think I would only block someone if they're being belligerent and going on to like all of my videos and commenting really nasty things. It's like usually when people have commented something that's unkind, it usually has to do with the content of that specific video, and it has nothing to do with me personally as a person. So I've never had to block anyone. Anyways, that is this tag. I hope you found this interesting. These are questions that I don't think I've ever answered on my channel before. There may be a few of them like kind of talking about my process and that kind of thing, but I don't think that I have ever been asked most of these questions. And so it's really fun to talk about kind of my thoughts on YouTube in general and my process in creating videos and editing videos and all that kind of stuff. So I will have all of the questions for this tag linked in the description of this video. So if you're a booktuber and you would like to do this tag, consider yourself tagged, because I don't tag anyone in tag videos anymore. I just don't. But I think it's an interesting tag. So if you end up deciding to do this tag, please let me know so I can go watch your video. Or if you don't feel like doing this tag, but you would like to answer some of these questions in the comments, that would be super fun too. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me, and I will see you again next time.